Hi, this is Mind Your Business. I'm Ridhya Raj, and joining me is the amazing Amanda from The Scoop. Welcome to Mind Your
Mhm.
Business.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me, Raj.
It's a pleasure, Amanda. And you are a part of what I would say is very often a South African family's time together, many first dates, many special occasions. You are the creator behind the scoop. And before we delve into what makes your business so incredibly special, I do want to ask why ice cream?
I've got first of all, I'm British. So I came to South Africa 18 years ago, and I had a very big career in the UK running restaurants. So I was involved in the restaurant industry from 14. I studied hotel and catering management in my late teens. And then I just worked my way through various different management positions, some fairly large corporate pizza companies to begin with, and then into some really amazing award-winning gastropubs and restaurants. And during my time in the gastropubs, I had this incredible head chef uh, working in one of my sites. Her name was Frances McKellar. She'd got a brilliant background in some really well-known chefs' restaurants in London, and she said she was making incredible desserts. And she said, "I refuse to serve commercial ice cream with these beautiful desserts. I want to buy an ice cream maker." And we said, "Yes, fantastic, go and do it." And when I tasted that ice cream, it was like nothing I'd ever tasted before. So, and I'd fallen in love. I'd always been an ice cream fan, Haagen-Dazs and Movenpick and that kind of thing when I was growing up, but nothing came close to what she was making. And she gave me a couple of recipes, and I fiddled around at home. My friends and family loved them when I served them at dinner parties. And when I came to South Africa originally, I wanted to be a full-time mum. I'd got one child at the time and then went on to have a second. And I thought that I'd be content doing that, but realized fairly quickly that I didn't really want to go into the bar or restaurant industry here. I think it's really tough, especially as a mum.
Yeah.
And so I thought, let me make ice cream. It's a very happy environment. I never imagined that we would get to. We're just about to open our fourth store. My idea was to have a little ice cream van running up and down the beachfront, in Belito or Salt Rock. Uh, but I got taken for a ride. I lost 80,000 Rand on a tuk-tuk that was supposed to come from Singapore. And by that stage, I'd spent a fair amount of money on a really great logo and knew that I wanted to do something. So I hit the ground running and started opening my first store.
Wow, so this has been quite a whirlwind of a journey leading you up to the scoop.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was interesting. I've worked from part-time from 12 years old, so I don't know life without having something to get up and do. And yeah, it was a fairly structured background being in corporate originally. So the beauty of being in corporate is they teach you how everything should work. You understand
Yes.
hygiene, you understand customer service, you understand standards. So it was very structured, even though it sounds like a bit of a whirlwind. It was very structured. And to be honest, I was old before my time.
Yeah.
I was a store manager at 19, which is pretty unheard of. But I was driven and I knew where I wanted to head, and I didn't want anyone to get in my way.
I absolutely love it, Amanda.
So, so yeah. So the last. Thank you, thank you. Uh, I ended up setting up and opening and then managing a group of 30 pubs and restaurants from Surrey to Scotland. But that was with a fantastic team who were hugely experienced in the industry, and we worked together to make it happen. So it does sound as if it was a bit crazy, and at times it was, but I'm great under pressure. So it's been wonderful for me.
So one of the things that really struck a chord with me as you spoke about your journey leading you up to the creation of the
Mm.
school is the fact that as women, oftentimes, it's thought of that our careers are prior to our families. And, you felt that fulfillment having always been a working person. And you
Yes.
really brought that forward now. And fast forward all of these years, you now have the scoop. And the scoop is all beautiful ice cream. And
Mm.
it's hard to imagine how stark the difference is between commercial ice cream and what we taste
Mm.
at the scoop. What would you say
Mm.
is the secret ingredient behind this?
You know, there's a few, to be honest, and I'm going to say the number one is the love that comes from our team. We've got the most incredible team behind us, and they pour everything that they've got into making the ice cream. So the second one is we use really good quality ingredients. So, and as much as we can, supporting local businesses. So our cream and milk are fresh, and from a Jersey cattle up in Kloof. Our all of our as many of our fruits as possible, grenadillas, lemons, limes, oranges when we can get them, pineapples, mangoes are sourced locally. Macadamia nuts are from a local farm. And then we use high quality ingredients that we can't always get locally. So we bring chocolate in from Belgium, vanilla in from Madagascar. So it's we don't, as much as we possibly can, we don't use artificial ingredients or colorings. We've got one or two ice creams that for commercial reasons we've had to put on the menu because there's such a demand for them. But everything else is as natural as it can be. And it's made in 4 liter batches on the stovetop. So we cook everything individually. So and we probably get through about 500 liters of milk and cream a week at the moment. So
Wow.
yeah, so everything's made in 4 liter batches, and then everything is added in. So we make one of our top selling flavors is vanilla chocolate brownie, and we've got a very small kitchen. You won't believe what comes out of it. It's 60 square meters in Bolito, where we make all our own brownies. We make pralines, etc. And once the ice cream's been churned, in about 10 liters at a time, we hand mix all of the ingredients into them afterwards as well. So it's a very
Wow.
manual. I wanted to set up a manual business to help with job creation. So we've gone from starting in my kitchen at home where I did absolutely everything and taking the ice cream out on a Saturday morning with a mobile freezer and scooping it myself to now a team of, I think at Christmas, probably up to a team of 30. So the team have really helps, in my opinion, and I believe very strongly, there's so much love gets poured into the product. So it's a really beautiful story.
Now, the reason as to why the scoop touched my heart is because of what you do for the youth and for the community. And from what I've heard so far, there's a lot of passion in you when it comes to job creation and making a difference in the world around you, be it with supporting other small
Mm.
businesses, providing quality to your client base, and of course, making a difference to our youth.
Mm.
Tell me a bit more about how this initiative came
Mm.
about, Amanda.
You know, so I came to South Africa for the first time in 2000. My best friend, sorry, I've just got goosebumps. My best friend's from Cape Town, and I knew the second that I started meeting the South African communities that I wanted to live here and I wanted to bring my children up here. And I felt as if I'm a very empathetic person, and I felt as if there was a reason for me coming. And when I first arrived and I was, full-time mum, I kept on thinking about how I could go out and make a difference, So it started with kind of maybe I could start a cleaning company, or I had all sorts of harebrained schemes. And when I started making Scoop, I trained my domestic helper. At the time, she showed a bit of an interest. I think she wanted to change her life a bit. And so I started teaching her. And I realized that there was if we could make this as small or as big as we wanted to. And the bigger we made it, the more lives we impacted. So there's a really beautiful throughout South Africa run course, mainly found in churches. It's called Work for a Living.
Yes.
Which do you know, are you aware of it? Do you know it? I love it. It ticks all of my boxes. And once I'd found out about that, I decided that I would only employ people that had been through that course. And if we'd got people already employed, that we would put them through the course so they understood it. And I would say 90% of our current crew, maybe more, went through that course, which in our area has actually changed slightly. It's been taken in by the church and it's been called Work Smart. And that happened after COVID. So obviously after COVID, there were so many people unemployed and in dire need. And they felt that the course needed to be changed slightly and go from a 2-week course to a 4-week course where they're not only teaching job readiness skills, but they're also teaching people how to be a great person and how to live in this country, because we all know it's not easy. So one of my key things is giving back, and I'm a very friendly and outgoing person. So if I'm walking on the street, walking my dog, going for a run, I'll often make eye contact with people and we'll stop and have a chat. And, there are so many people in need. And I've stopped believing in giving handouts, but I do believe in handing out this course to people. So I'll often find people who stop and, ask if I can help with some work or buy bread. And if I feel it inside me, and we've got a connection, then I'll offer to sponsor them onto the course. So it's a 4-week course and it costs 250 Rand, which to me will change their lives. And, I've got 2 of my senior managers went through the Work for a Living course 8 years ago. They were working as car guards. I saw something in them and they proved me 100% right. So they are my left and right hand, literally. And they've been with me for 8 years, and I can't imagine having Scoop without them. And there's a similar story for the rest of the team, where we've either put them through the course or they've chosen to do the course, which I also love, because it says there are so many needy people in this country, and there's a need for us to make changes, but not everybody wants to work hard and change their lives. And what I find with people that come through these courses is they want to change their lives and they want to make a difference and they want to be able to provide for their families. And so they come with a very different attitude. So we've got 6 core values that we live and breathe every day. And much of that is around our team, and our team talk about them with such great passion, and they are honest ingredients. We're trying to keep everything as honest and as fresh and natural as we possibly can. Extra mile service. If you go into any of our stores, you'll find extra mile service. We hire attitude and train skills, and that one's so linked to the Work Smart and Work for a Living course, because you can come in with all the skills in the world, but if you come in with a shoddy attitude, you're not the right person for us. And then we add on from there with thriving teams. So we're a close-knit team. We have huddles daily in store to communicate what's happening. We pray together. We know the ins and outs of each other's lives, and we're here for each other. And then another huge one is that we promote from within. So in the 10 years that we've been operating, I haven't had to hire anyone externally. So the guys that started as scooping staff are now in charge of stores. And through doing that, I've seen people changing their lives. You know, many of them are studying. Sharon, my manager at Florida Road in Durban, she started with me fresh out of school. She'd never had a job. She started 7.5 years ago. She's been the manager at Florida Road for 5 years, inexperienced at the time, but growing and wanting to learn. And she's been studying online for the last 2 years to do security management. So, you know, I'd love to keep people with us for as long as possible, but in many cases, we're a stepping stone for them to, you know, to go and do something greater, which I love. So we've got so many stories like that, you know, where people have thought that they're worthless and they come in and they're trained by a caring team and they add so much value to us and us to them. It's beautiful.
I absolutely love that the sweetness transcends just the treat of ice cream.
I love
And
that.
in the scoop, this definitely seems to be evident.
Mm,
And what I really also like is the fact that, as you've mentioned, this drive within you to want to make a difference and
mm,
finding a way in which not just to help one person, but to empower that person such
mm,
that their lives and their families' lives can be improved.
absolutely.
I think that is so
Yes.
magical, and this really tells us the magic of ice
Mm.
cream. And I do have to ask though, and I know it's going to be a tough one. What is your favorite flavor down at the scoop?
Oh, I go through phases, to be honest. So I absolutely love our 70% chocolate chip. I love it. And I usually do it with a strawberry sorbet on top. Those two
Ooh,
go so well together. And my second favorite, and I probably do 6 months on and 6 months off, is Rocky Road, which is the 70% chocolate base with mini marshmallows and peanuts. It's delicious.
I love that.
It's wonderful.
I love how I can actually see the joy on your face when you
Mm,
speak about not just the ice cream, but also the team behind it. And now I
mm.
encountered the scoop at Karma's Makers, which is all about South African craft. And
Yes.
I would like to ask, what would you say has been a challenge you encountered and how you found a way to work through it in your journey with the scoop?
Um, you know, I think from an emotional point of view, you know, being a mum and a wife and being so committed to the team as a woman, it's, you know, it's hard. It's hard. So being in a country that I didn't know at the time, and you know, I had two small kids and a fairly difficult marriage at the time. That was really tough because it was a juggling act and trying to keep everybody happy, you know, and trying not to spread myself out too thinly, which can be dangerous for everybody, you know,
Yeah.
and fills you with guilt as a mum and a wife. So um, and I must say, since my kids have grown up a lot more. They're now 21 and 16, and I've managed to get myself out of that difficult marriage. That's made Scoop much easier, and I'm able to give much more attention to my team. So, and it's been a beautiful thing with my kids growing up in the business. You know, having a ice cream shop as your go-to place has been fantastic for them. So that, on an emotional level, that was difficult. I think the electricity situation in South Africa and ice cream, major problem, major problem. So we've had some fairly big panic moments over the years, and we've managed to get through it. Um, so far, with just a couple of generators and some really great landlords actually who've invested in the, you know, in the structures that we work in. So yeah, the unpredictability of the electricity has definitely held us back in terms of our growth. We launched something called Scoop on a Stick 2 years ago, which is ice lollies that we could put in various different locations, petrol stations and sporting arenas and that kind of thing. But I had to pull back on rolling it out. I wanted to have a lot of freezers out by now, but we had to pull back on rolling that out because of the unpredictability of the electricity. So, but yeah.
I think it speaks volumes about your resilience that you've really kept yourself rolling with the punches. You've found different ways and means to channel what you're doing, ensuring that the best is put forth and also the best is
Mm.
received. And I think as a woman, it's something to be really proud of because it's not easy, the levels of guilt that we feel, the
Yes,
challenges that we experience. And more than anything, as a business to survive despite COVID, despite challenges in the economy,
absolutely.
things like load shedding,
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
something really wonderful. And Amanda, from me to you, I hope that you know you should really, really be proud of yourself.
Thank you. Thanks, Rog. Thank you. We love it. I think that's the main, the main reason we keep winning because um, to see people growing, it's just a beautiful thing. And it's not about me, it's the whole team working together to make the growth, it can't all come from me and it doesn't. So I just provide the environment for them to flourish.
I love that. I love that you have such respect for your team. I think that in the work environment, that's what you need. You need a space where
Mm,
you are encouraged, you are valued. And also,
absolutely.
I feel that on a personal level, sometimes we have to make tough decisions, and the outcome of
Mm,
those tough decisions are what's for the best for ourselves, for people around us, and
absolutely.
for our goals and
Absolutely.
dreams in general.
100% right. Yeah. And we in some of the major challenges that we've had, obviously COVID is the one that's on everybody's tongues. We we sat down as a team. We were quite new at the time. We'd only got 2 stores. Um, and we sat down as a team and we said, how are we going to do this? Shall we make redundancies or shall we go at risk and see if we get paid out by the government, on the monthly wages? And everybody in the team said we would rather hang on and have no income, knowing that we've got a potential job at the end. So it was a team decision, and we meet the senior management team. We meet on a bi-weekly basis, and um, everybody around the table's got a voice. My belief is that we are all as valuable as each other, and every single person is entitled to say what they feel and what they're experiencing. And most importantly, they experience things in a very different way to the way I do. And therefore, we need to listen to them and we need to take on some of their ideas. And it works so well. It works so well for us.
Well, Amanda, I stand by what I've said earlier. The sweetness transcends the scope.
No, I can't hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Oh, I can hear you now. Sorry. Sorry. I missed everything you said.
No, no, it's okay. Okay, so what I'll do is I will cut it there before
Sure, no problem.
we had that difficulty, but I honestly I do believe